everybody, and welcome to another episode of Behind the Music. I'm so happy to have each and every one of you back here. Today we have an R&B Palestinian-Canadian artist, and I'm so excited to have her. She is such a beautiful soul, and I just cannot wait for you guys to hear her story and her essence as an artist. Now, this episode is pre-recorded just like all the others. The original episode gets published and recorded on Instagram Live. So if you are a listener here and you love all these episodes, definitely go give us a follow on _music on Instagram to get tuned into our live episodes where you get to see the interaction and be involved in the conversation live in person. So definitely go give us a follow there and keep an eye out as we will be having some in-person events as well. Now, without further ado, let's get into this episode. ZINA is a Palestinian-Canadian R&B singer-songwriter who draws you into her melodic world with her ethereal and sultry tones. ZINA sings the stories of her emotional and physical experience of womanhood and living through the Palestinian struggle in the diaspora. Since the age of 8, ZINA has performed in various places such as London Music Hall for Share the Land charity, TD Music Hall for the Honey Jam concert, and more. She is currently working on her next recorded project that is releasing in 2025 and is looking forward to future music projects and performances. Now, please get cozy as this episode is peaceful, soothing, and it will really give you an eye into Miss ZINA's life, perspective, and artistry. Enjoy.
Thank you so much for joining us at Behind the Music.
Of course, I'm glad that you enjoyed the song. I heard you listening to the song. I love that. I like that shape.
Shame. Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorites. It's more upbeat than what you released in your last EP, Two Truth, One Lie. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a different producer for sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
different producer, but also different vibe. Like,
Yeah.
what was the inspiration behind it?
The Shame song. It was actually maybe one of my I think it was second or third recording sessions I've ever had. Like I've always been a performer, but that was like the third one I recorded with like my friends back in MIA in Fanshawe. So I was in a music school in college, a music program. But yeah, it was like really late at night. We worked 8 hours, like late at night on the song. It was like something I wanted to write, like in terms of like a higher self, which is like it's like similar to when I wrote Flourish, but Shame was kind of like that. And they just made the beat and I sang along to it, found a melody. It was great. It was a great memory, like actually a core memory in making music.
No, that's amazing. Okay. I love that. I love that so much. So would you say that that's kind of the creative process of how all of your best songs are produced and created?
I think so. I think like the way I make music is it's like kind of based on impulse and spontaneity. Like I think I'm a type of person where if I overthink something, it might backfire on me. Like of course it's like it's normal to plan and organize everything, but I think the best way to make art is to like is what your soul intuition is. And I think that's how I work. So it's like being in the studio, being with other producers who are in a vibe, or like it's like almost like we're making a story together. And you know, it's also like the people that you're with. Like I don't like making music with people I don't like. I like being able to create a memory. If there's no memory, or there's nothing, something I can't hold on to, and it's something in a moment where I'm stressed, or I'm being self-conscious, I can't make a song properly.
Right.
So yeah, it's very
Absolutely.
similar. Yeah, like that's the kind of vibe, just being comfortable, intuitive, just what your soul wants you to be and what wants you to do.
Absolutely. Is there something that helps to set that environment, or is there something that you bring to help set that environment of comfortability and freedom?
Definitely like being able to be with people that like make you laugh. Like
Okay.
I think like laughter for me is like the best way for me to be comfortable in the studio. Um, and so like also like I feel like as well, if I'm in the studio, I need to be comfortable with the person to be able to tell them like about me and about my story, because I think whenever I write a song, it's not just like a song where I'm writing lyrics that don't mean anything and that don't have a story, and I'm just doing it to sound good, or it goes I make sure every song I write is a story. And when I write that story, I almost have to consult with the producer I'm with and to let them know what this means. And I have to feel like that's supported and that's listened to, because I believe that when they're making the song with me and they're producing and making music with it, it there's an undertone of understanding when like they're making that and they know the story I have with it. Like music speaks just as much as lyrics. Um, so yeah, like I have to be very comfortable with the people I'm with. I have to be like vulnerable with them, and that even means laughing with them, and knowing that I was so free. If I felt like I was in any way self-conscious, I can't do it, even as much as I try. I've been in sessions where I'll be there for hours and I don't feel the most confident, and nothing works out as much as I try, you know?
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. I love how intentional you are when you're creating stories and creating these songs. You know, you're always telling a story, and everything has to be done very fluidly, but also it's all thought out. So, and we've seen this from you before in Most Guys. At the end of the song, you go on like this whole tangent about body image and stuff. I was wondering, why did you feel like that was something that's important for you to include? Especially because like there was no music or anything, you were just there like, talking.
There was a point in my life where like it was like in the middle of making this project where I would be with my friends, and I just felt like I had to record a lot of the conversations we have, because I feel like as girls like we'll go deep into a conversation where it's just it's something like it's almost like a core memory that you have, how you spoke with your friend about something. And I remember I was in my friend's sister's apartment. Yasmin is the one who was in the recording for Most Guys, talking about the gut. And I remember we were just she was just talking a lot, and I could tell she was going through something, and I was going through something. Everyone was going through something in the room, and suddenly she just started talking about like the gut of a woman and how your sacral chakra is like it connects so much with being a woman. And if it's like a line, like even if you have gut issues, it's I genuinely believe you're having gut issues, and gut health really has to do with your intuition and the way you believe in yourself and your self-esteem. uh, and I think like when I wrote Most Guys, it was I wrote Most Guys in a way where it was like how I felt perceived and how I perceived myself in relationships, especially with men at the time. And it was like I wasn't even supposed to put that recording in the end, but I really really wanted to, like after like post production and everything. And I just felt like I hold voice, like stories like so important to my music, and it's like even for my next project, like I want to put voice notes in there, or stories or voices that I find important to me or that mean a lot to me, to
Yeah.
make sense of it, you know. So yeah, I don't know, I felt like it was right. I felt like it's something like women need to hear as well, like we to have a healthy relationship with food, have a healthy relationship with their intuition, and trust their
Yeah.
gut.
And I feel like I don't know how many people know that. I don't know how many people know that when you have stress, it's actually held in your body in an area. You know, a certain pain could be connected to the
Yeah.
stress that you're experiencing, or our trauma could be connected to the weight that's in our stomach. Like, I don't think a lot of people know that. So good on you for being wise and like also sharing that message through your music as well.
Yeah, for sure. I want women to know that, and like shout out Yasmin for being like so intelligent and so wise as well to share that, and for me to
Right.
listen to her. I think it's really important, especially for someone for me. Like everybody who's close to me knows I have gut issues, and I do believe that a lot of it has to do with generational trauma and, you know, like self-esteem issues and um you know, like things that happen in our life, and I think there's even a study that says like majority of gut health is because of stress. So yeah.
What I love about you as an artist, and even through listening to your music, you're really not afraid to shy away from these conversations. Like these aren't everyday conversations. These aren't oftentimes, sometimes they're uncomfortable conversations as well. But you tackle them so beautifully through your music and your sound, and you're able to create art out of these challenging conversations. I wanted to talk to you to see if any of these topics are going to come up in your upcoming projects.
Hmm. um in a way, like I think with my project that's coming out, it's a lot about breaking cycles and in relationships that I've had in the past, whether it's romantic or platonic, and you know, releasing that with the songs. So in a way it kind of is like, you know, because breaking cycles is a part of like dealing with generational trauma and trauma within yourself, and being able to let that go, even if that means it's not like something within yourself, it's the relationship you have with a person. And I feel like for a while in my life, or not anymore, but I think a
In the
lot,
past.
the,
This is past tense,
the
y'all.
past, it's the
Domestic.
past. We've done better.
Yeah.
We find love now, but I think before I kind of found addiction, and I found addiction in a lot of relationships I've been in, and relating that to my self-worth, and like I think I went through something really traumatic, like I think a few years ago, where it was I had somebody break in to my house before, and he attacked me at night. And I almost, in a sense, I feel like that in itself almost like hit me. Like it hit me in a way where it was like my boundaries were like crossed physically. And it was almost like having that moment made me realize my mental boundaries were being crossed constantly by other people. And I had this weird like epiphany for like the next 2 years of my life. And I remember having so many different types of friends, get like letting in the same person in my relationship, in my romantic relationship, but in a different body, and being able to like, I remember like the summer, just a year later after this happened in the summer, I just decided to cut anybody off that I felt like didn't truly love me, truly didn't care for me. And also it inspired me to move to Toronto and kind of forget like what I had been dealing with like in London. Even though I love London, there's so many things I love about London. It's my home at the end of the day. It's where my family is. It's where my cousins are. But I wanted to leave that and start over. And that's kind of where I started my project, was in Toronto with my producer, Kathy, and my experiences. So in a way it does, like it always like it's I try and make sure my music is something like that relates to other people and they feel comforted, especially like women and women of color, and like being able to be spiritually aligned with yourself and coming out of like like even like the mainstreams and the mainstreams of like toxic trends and um I don't know what other older generations have taught us that we're trying to break. So yeah, it's just about breaking cycles, listening to your gut. Once again, always listening to your gut. So yeah.
Trust me, I need to hear it. I need to
For
hear
me,
it.
I still have to hear it.
Yeah.
Like it's not like I'm perfect as
How,
well.
how did you find that spiritual alignment within yourself?
I feel like I've always had it. Like I think I've always had it as a kid. I've always been, I think like when you're a woman of color, like there's a different side of you that you just constantly see the world in a certain way because you're forced to learn that way and to see the truth. And like your parents also, you have, if you have immigrant parents, they're not afraid to tell you the truth. They're not afraid to tell you that like people want to like kill you, people want to people don't see you the way that you see yourself and the way that they see yourself, and that will make you always spiritually aware in a sense. Even though like I always held a lot of rage. I still hold, I think, a lot of rage once in a while. And I think like having those experiences where like I had a few years ago with somebody breaking into my house and having the courage to move out of my house, like move out of my parents' house and being able to find independence and even moving to a different city. Like I think experiences in life will just make you spiritual. And I think even our parents, like I think people think spiritual means like what like online says, where it's like, you know, doing yoga and like doing affirmations and writing, but like even our parents themselves are spiritual, like in the way that they believe like everything will come together through all the stress that they go through in life and all the moving and all the changes and their career changes and all the trauma they've been through, and still being able to go through with it and still being able to like walk through life trying to find joy. That in itself is spiritual alignment. So I'm just following the people that I look up to in life, and I'm I'm just trying to keep it real. Like if I'm honest, like trying to find peace. But at the end of the day, I'm just trying to find peace, you know?
Yeah, and so do you find that music kind of helps you find that peace and, package, because you've been through a lot, like you've been through it, and, someone breaking into your house, that's not an easy thing to just overcome, So has music helped you throughout everything?
Absolutely. Yeah. Music has always helped me. Like even when I like when it happened, like very earlier on when it happened, I always go back to singing music and writing it in a song. And even if it wasn't released, I'm just grateful that I even made that song because at least I made it. Like at least it exists. And for me, like sometimes I just make songs for me to listen to. And I have a lot of those. And I even think every time I perform, there's a part of me that almost grows into a new form. It's like almost like a new form of joy. So and I get told by like my friends that like when they see me perform, it's like the only time where I'm really in it. Like I'm a very overthinker, and
Yes.
I'm yeah, I'm finally present on stage, and it's all I'm thinking about at that moment is putting on a good show, being able to sing and singing my songs and seeing people happy. So it's always been healing. It's like it's so like simple, like of an answer that it's just beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes being present is very hard to achieve, especially when you're overthinking, especially when you have a lot of things on your to-do list or a lot of responsibilities or you're 100% independent. So that's a very beautiful comment that your friends have noticed, and it's nice to hear that, performing live is able to free you from yourself, essentially.
Exactly. That's a good way of saying it. It does free me from myself because sometimes you do want to break from yourself. Like you just want to break from the thoughts and the anxiety and like even just like what life makes you think about or plan. And when I'm on stage, it's like I'm like a bird and I'm just flying and I get to be free. I get to be whatever persona I want to be in that moment. And it's like I'm not just this one person and this one girl in a box. It's like I can be anything I want on that stage and everybody will follow along. It sounds like I'm like into like this power like dynamic, but it's like genuinely like I feel so confident on stage no matter what.
So, yeah, and maybe like that is your power, you know? You can
Yeah,
come up with a whole name for your own superpower, you
exactly.
know?
Even though like I made it my own name,
Yeah.
but hey, but yeah, so
Basically, oh, that's amazing. Yes. Okay, so this project is called Cycle, right? Or
it's
Cyclist?
called Cyclist.
Cyclist. Okay, and it's coming out when?
There's no
Uh,
date right now. It is in the works. I'm trying to release it by at least before the end of 2024. It's been a journey. I started the making the project in last, I think, March or February 2023 with my producer Cat B. He's amazing. He's talented. He works with many other great artists as well. So
Shout out
we've
to
been working on it for a long time. Yeah, shout out
Yeah.
Cat B. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we cannot wait to hear it. And yeah, if you're watching right now, make sure to give her a follow. I wanted to ask you though, sonically, is it going to be similar to what we've heard from you in the past?
No, it's not. If people who watch me perform in person, it's like the album, but it's not what I've released. It's kind of funny because a lot of the times lately, I've met a lot of people in Toronto, and I haven't released music since I think 2022. And a
Yeah.
lot of times I meet people, they'll be like, "Oh, what's your Spotify? What's your Apple Music?" And I'll be like, it's like I want to give it, but I was like, I get kind of like, oh God, like I only have this music out, but like what I'm about to release is different. And it almost like I kind of overthink, or I'm like, this is not what I want them to think I do, or the music I do. It's the new album is more. It's like I think before I worked with a lot of talented producers that were like into they had a lot of trap influence and a lot of like almost hip hop R&B influence.
Mhm.
But I think right now I want to do more like soul R&B and smooth R&B. I feel calmer when I'm saying that as well. Um, it's still gonna be fun, but yeah, it's kind of more almost like a snap type of vibe
Oh, like
where
jazz? Like
no,
jazzy?
not jazz, but
Okay.
almost like
R&B, but we're
we're
snapping. I got
snapping,
it.
like we're snapping, we're
Maybe like
doing
Alicia Keys, like back in the day, Alicia Keys. I feel like we could snap to that.
yeah,
No.
yeah, exactly, kind of like Alicia Keys is a big influence of mine for sure. It's almost just like a album you kind of like lay in your bed and listen to, or you're driving and you're listening to. It's a calm album. It's very calm,
Calm
but
and healing. No. Healing? Calm and healing?
it is healing. Yes, it is healing. I believe so. If when you listen to if you're a person who listens to lyrics, I think you may also probably relate or enjoy the story of it. I try my best to like mix the songs to make it almost like a story and the thoughts. It's like it's almost like my diary. So like I think this album kind of treats my thoughts like a diary because most of all of my songs I write are in my journal. I write it in my journal and I write it based off like just what I'm feeling in that moment. Or if I'm in the studio, I'm just writing to the melody that, you know, Cabby is making or something. So a lot of it is almost like what I'm thinking in that moment or what I've thought about in that day. And, you know, there's a song in there as well where I remember it was the day where I was really upset about something, about the situation of something, and I went home. I didn't speak to my roommates. I just went straight to my room and recorded the song, and I did like multiple takes on it over and over again. And the layer of the recordings, actually, the amount of takes I took almost blended in together so
Oh, wow.
well that it kind of like all the takes are kind of in the song now and have
Wow.
this. And that's the last song in my project as well. It's called Petty.
Okay.
So yeah, it's the song. It's almost like I had to go home and let it out. I had to let out all the lyrics I wrote for it and like the music I made for it. And it's a very like you'll when you hear this album, I think you'll hear me letting go of a lot of stuff, letting out certain stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Girl, I'm excited to hear it. I'm excited to hear it. And maybe we can invite you back on and just like talk about
Yeah.
it because yeah, no, I'm really excited. It sounds like a lot of self-discovery. It sounds like a lot of healing. It sounds like a lot of maturing, and then also a lot of relatability because you're just talking about like the rawness of real life, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm excited. And then we get some R&B from you.
Yeah. Exactly. It's
Yeah.
more R&B, more than like R&B trap. Like it's real R&B. It's just what I'm really
Okay, real R&B. Okay, yes. Yeah, I hear that. I hear that from you in Shame.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of why I like Shame. It's a little bit more sassy than the other ones. The other ones were a little bit more echoey and a little bit more instrumental.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's very Shame was very like very hype. It was one of those moments where I needed something to hype myself. It was when I was in a phase where I kind of wanted to rap while singing, and I wanted to like punch in, punch out type of recording. Whereas this, like the music I'm making now is more of like being able to like if I were to perform in real life, I could breathe and I could let it out. So it's almost like I'm really singing. I'm like singing. You know, the other ones I was singing, but I remember even there was one point where I was performing those songs, and I felt like I was being rushed. Sorry.
I was gonna say out of breath.
Yeah, like I was out of breath, but like I think with the songs I'm making now, it's almost like I have time to breathe and feel what the lyrics I'm saying. I've been told by a lot of producers where like they even say like, you know, you don't have to like say a line every single time in your song. You can take a break and like let the listener listen. It's almost like a mixture, like I've kind of like warmed up to it from like my phase with Shame and Hang Up and done to Most Guys and Flourish. That was when Flourish and Most Guys was when I was kind of like, oh, I want to kind of be more like girly pop in my music. I kind of want to talk more about like being a woman and making music for the girlies, but like the boys can listen to. But you know what I mean? It's and I think now this project is more almost universal. It's a very universal album. I want everybody to listen to, and I want everybody to understand, because I also made sure like it's not just like also breaking cycle. It's breaking cycles in general. It's not just breaking relationships. Even like me being Palestinian is also breaking the cycle of generational trauma and oppression. And I even put like a voice note of a protest I was at as the opening of the project. So it's a song I'm singing, and then it goes into a voice note of a protest I went to about Palestine, and it was chanting. I don't think a lot of people who don't know Arabic will understand, but you'll know now that when you listen to it, where it's basically saying tomorrow will return, Turamle will return, which is my original home city before we were exiled in 1948. Turamla will return, to tomorrow will return, and with all my lovers, with all my family, tomorrow will return. So, yeah. Yeah. I made sure to put like everything I believed in this project, basically.
That sounds so beautiful. So beautiful. Has the war that's been happening, did that impact your creativity? Obviously influenced it in that song, but was it ever challenging for you to produce music just because of everything that was happening back home?
Absolutely. I think when October 7th happened, um, I kind of shut down, and I think it was normal for like a lot of Palestinians to shut down. And there was almost a moment where I didn't want to be a part of the music industry. I didn't want to be involved in it, and I didn't want to center music like I've done for so long. Because I was already at a breaking point where I felt like a lot of the music scene I was dealing with was a lot of people whose priorities were different than mine. Um, in terms of like community, in terms of not even politics. I don't like to even say politics. I even like just humanity. And I kind of felt like nobody was talking about it and nobody wanted to address it. And I was just seeing everybody post like nothing was happening. And now I look back, like understanding that like it's not going to center everybody's life. Like that's just the reality of it, even though it centered my own because it's my family and
Yeah.
it's my people. I didn't want to be a part for a long time, and I went into a block, and like I think like I wouldn't say now I'm in a block, but I think still in a way I wouldn't even say I'm in a block. I would say kind of like I think my priorities with music and making music is changing in the way I write and who I work with, and I just I don't believe in a lot of the stuff that like the West has made the music industry be, even in terms of like having to write a song right away and having to make content, da da da, constantly going. Like I'm not like that. I've learned that a lot about myself. Where a lot of times when I make music, it's about how I feel emotionally, and if I have to like let something out. And I think real artists are like that. Like a lot of artists we love are not like that. Like even like we look at people like Frank Ocean who haven't released in like years, and maybe it's because he hasn't gone through something he feels is good enough to let out. And I don't think I'm ready to release anything as of right now, or like I all I'm you know what I'm saying. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I think I'm just trying to say my priorities really changed a lot in the way I think of the music industry. I don't think of it as this as like something that is led by like capitalistic views and mentality in a direction. It's more now for me, my music is mine. And the way I make music is on my terms. And I don't care. I'm almost like now let go of the fact where I don't care we get so much advice from people that like that are on the same level of us, or like even like not on the same level, and it's like
Not level, but vibration.
vibration.
I think that's
Exactly. Level, yeah, levels kind of mean, but vibration is like and it's just like I'm gonna take that advice and I'm gonna take it in, but at the same time I'm gonna do what I feel is best. I'm gonna do what makes me me, because seeing how the music scene and how the music industry reacted to something that was so important to me, it kind of made me realize like, oh, like I'm going through something so different. I'm going through an experience that is my own. And
yeah.
if that's the case, I'm going to treat music like it's my own. And the process of me making music is going to be my own. So it kind of made me care less about people's opinions and the way people saw me. And that almost like made me more relaxed. Um, so yeah, I hope that answers your question. It was more like a very awakening for me. And an awakening for a lot of Palestinians as well in their lives and in their careers and in their jobs, and knowing that like all we have in this world is truly community and the love you have for yourself. So yeah.
Well, I am relieved to hear that although it did bring upon depression, you were able to find peace
Yeah.
within yourself. And you now have like this new standard of how you navigate the world. Someone commented here that you are an inspiration for all young Palestinians. And I truly believe that the way that you're speaking right now and the way that you're able to walk in your power, essentially.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's important to just like go by the beat of your own drum, because I think a lot of artists are very very influenced, and it's not their fault because we're constantly hearing different opinions online and different ways of redirection. And I of course it's great to like take in that advice and sometimes take those tips, but at the end of the day, it's your music, it's your journey. We're all young. There's so many different ways you can succeed as an artist, and there's so many ways that people are going to look at you, especially because I'm in an industry where like a lot of the people that are in charge, if I'm being real, are not on my side in terms of my identity. And I think even that has brought me peace. It's brought me fear, but it's also brought me peace in a way where it's like, you know what? No matter how I act, I'm still going to be Palestinian and I'm still going to be me. So I might as well just do whatever I want in the way I music and how I release it and how I promote it and how I look. So yeah, I think everybody should think that way. Every Palestinian should think that way. And we shouldn't be scared to also say the word Palestinian in our art and make it obvious. You know.
Absolutely, absolutely. For those who aren't Palestinians but want to support, what is the best way, to support artists that we know are Palestinian, like yourself?
Honestly, I like this is so funny because I talked about this with my cousin, and I think the best way to support Palestinian artists is, like uplifting them. And uplifting them, I'm not saying, making, writing, saying, make a post being like, oh, free Palestine. Like we're past that. We know everybody, the right people know that Palestine deserves to be free and the right of return. But I think like if you really want to support Palestinians, I think you should uplift their work and post their work and make their work known. And I even this is kind of like problematic to say, but even me and my cousin were talking a lot about like a lot of people will show their support for Palestine, but then they'll make themselves the center of talking about Palestine and totally forget about Palestinians who are making the art, which is so like ironic because it's like you're posting like whatever, say you're posting your songs or your poetry or your post about Palestine, and then when it's finally time for a Palestinian to be of the spotlight and you have the opportunity, or a Palestinian artist and you don't want to give them that spotlight but rather talk in their narrative, then give them the narrative. I find that's very what's it called, like contradictive. I don't know if that's the right word, where it's like just yeah
Or
like
hypocritical.
Like even these types of platforms, I'm grateful that you even have me on here like in an interview, and that in itself is uplifting Palestinian artists. It's making us known, because the whole point of the Palestinian experience is that I think we're in a world where people don't want Palestine to even exist. They don't want us to say Palestinian. There are people that are, blocking people and shadow banning Palestinian artists for even saying the word Palestinian. So it's very important for people to make sure that we exist. That in itself, making sure that we're existing. Palestinians
Absolutely.
I feel like Palestinians nowadays, they don't care if people post anymore about saying like free Palestine or posting something that's happening. And that's important too. I'm not saying that isn't important. It's definitely important to raise awareness about that. But it's like you also have to show on top of that your support for Palestinian artists and not making yourself the center of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. And there are a lot of people that want Palestinians to exist, including the folks that commented on our post. So I'm just going to transition this to the questions that got submitted. There's a lot of people that want to see you exist, girl, and they're curious. They're curious.
Shout out to you guys.
So we're going to hop into these questions that were submitted earlier. But yes, everything you were saying is so, so, so powerful. Okay, here's our first question. What advice or tip do you have for aspiring young musicians or artists just starting out?
Just starting out, be honest. Like, just be honest in your writing. Be honest in the way that you perform, and it doesn't matter if you look weird or if you look awkward or the things you write about are like cringy. I think people can see through honesty in music. People more than we think. Like an audience will see through whether you're being real or not. And even if there's people that hate on you for not being like for being yourself and it being cringy, those people still respect you, even if they don't realize that they don't that they do. So it's it's hard to say that to someone who's younger and who's a younger artist, because when you're like at the age in high school, you care so much. You care so much. You also care so little, which is what makes it so powerful too. Like I remember being in high school and being an artist, and I remember I used to be on the piano in my house and I would post originals of me singing that I archived. But I actually recently posted some like back again because I kind of was like, this was me. This was me back in the day. This is what I wanted to post. This is what I wrote, and this is who I was. And as much as I look back and kind of, you can do a little cringe, I still respect it. I respect that I even did that. So yeah, for younger artists, just be yourself and don't be afraid to write about issues that you're going through. Don't be afraid to write about the truth of how you feel about yourself. Don't try and be somebody else because people will see through it. So yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, yep, absolutely. They do. Okay, next question. What musician you believe has influenced your style of lyric writing? I think we mentioned one earlier, Alicia
Yeah,
Keys, right?
Alicia Keys definitely. She's one of like those artists I really love, like especially female artists who are very like natural in their vibe and very um they love music. Like I love seeing a female artist who genuinely loves music in their writing. Alicia Keys is one of them. I also think Summer Walker is one of them. I think I really love her writing. I love how in her I think she has an album I think called Last Day of Summer. Um, and it was kind of when Girls Need Love came out, and she has a song called Just Like Me in it. And I really love how she wrote about her personal experiences. And it's like her lyrics are so raw and real to this day that like sometimes it doesn't even relate to anybody but her, but that's what makes it so cool. And I kind of like when I wrote songs, like I think when I wrote Done, it was I wrote Done, and it was very, very personal to the experience I was going through. And as much as I got hated on it by the person I wrote it about, everybody around me who knew that person and who knew me loved it because of how honest I was and how they knew the experience that I was going through and they knew the story of it. So I love honest writers. I love Amy Winehouse as well. I just love artists who write weird ass lyrics. So what
Yeah.
were you saying?
I was gonna say you could hear a little bit of like the soulful tones of Amy in your
Oh my
music. Like
God.
she likes to exaggerate certain notes, and you kind of do something similar in your live
Oh
sets.
my God, I love that. Thank you. I never got that. Yeah,
Yeah, not necessarily the tonality, but the way that you sing. Not the tone, but the
it's
way
the
you
freedom.
sing. Yeah.
It's the freedom, I think. Like I like to sing free. Like I don't like to sing like whenever I sing a line, it's just what I feel is right for the song. It's not like something. Maybe I should mix both, like in like how certain singers sing. But yeah, I like that Amy Winehouse very sings. Every take she sings is very different than the other one.
Right, right. And raw,
Yeah,
raw. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That authenticity, just like however she wants to say a word. If it's angry, you can hear
Yeah,
it. If it's sassy, you can hear it. You're the same way. Yeah.
exactly. I even think like an older influence. I love Minnie Riperton. I really love the way Minnie Riperton used to write. I think she wrote her songs. Actually, no.
Yeah.
I don't, I think I don't think she wrote her own songs, but I think her husband wrote it or somebody like related to her wrote it, and she was able to like talk about her experience. But I love, regardless of who wrote it, I love that when she sang it, it sounded like her, and it was
Mhm.
very like
Mm.
sensual with her
Yes.
lyrics and very like out there, especially in the
Yeah.
70s.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Woo! Yes, I love it. I love it. I love your expos. Okay. Final question. Do you have a music video coming out anytime soon?
I know who wrote that comment, and he knows that I do. But so yes, I do have a music video coming out. So I it's with a song that's in the new album Cyclist. It's Suburban Dreams, and I'm working on a music video as of right now, and we're working on releasing it by at least the end of the summer. So tune in for that. It's really nice. It's I made sure all my friends got involved in the music video. It was so fun. Like I love that I made the music video fun to do, and we made sure to put activities in it so we didn't feel like it was work, you know? So
Yeah. I love it. Those are when all the best music videos are created. And you have, I'm sure you guys got some really good BTS
yes,
footage too.
definitely, definitely. I looked back
Yeah.
on that a little bit ago with Natalie. She's an amazing photographer, amazing videographer, and we looked
Yeah.
back on all the shots and just we were just laughing. It was. I'm so excited for you to see it. I'm so excited for everybody to see
Girl, well, this entire upcoming project is going to be so, so powerful. I cannot wait to hear it. Um, and yeah, do you have any final thoughts? Anything else you want people to know about you?
it. I am actually performing at Bloor Days Festival on July 20th, so that's my next performance. It's going to be in Toronto, so if you're ever walking around Bloor Street, I'm going to be there on the 20th, so feel free to go there and watch me perform. And yeah, I'm really excited. I think that's like, it's my first performance in Toronto after a really long time, and I think my first performance in Toronto where I have a longer set and I'm able to implement all of like a lot of my songs. So I'm very excited for that. And yeah, I I don't know what else to say. I think I'm just really glad that I was able to share my thoughts with you, and thank you so much for asking me all these questions. They're all so wonderful. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, honestly, this has been such a great interview. It's been lovely getting to know you on a deeper level, and it's just really nice to hear how authentic you are and how seamlessly that translates through your music, and how you're unapologetically Palestinian.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Every Palestinian is going to be unapologetic. That's what makes us still exist. So, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yes, yes. Okay. Well, thank you so much for today. Thank you for hopping on behind the music. And yeah, we'll catch you all later. If you guys aren't already following ZINA, do yourself a favor and make sure you follow her here on Instagram. But where else do you want them to follow you?
You can follow me on Instagram. You can also follow me on TikTok with the same at. So it's the same user. You could also follow me on YouTube, also the same user, and follow me on Spotify, Apple Music. Just tune in to my music, and it should be coming to you soon. So, yeah, that's it.
Amazing. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your evening. Shout out to everyone that's been hopping in and out of this. We appreciate you all. And you did see that lovely comment from Sakako, right?
I did not see it. I don't know why I can't see the comment.
Okay. So someone mentioned they were like, amazing interview, Zena. You are an inspiration and your story is so powerful. I love your creative vision and process. Free Palestine.
Oh, thank you. That's Sakako.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you, Sakako. You're so sweet. Oh, wow. That's so nice.
All right. We'll see you all later. Thank you so much again.
Thank you, Latoya. Bye.
That's today's episode. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more conversations with artists in Canada.